Oh boy, we finally made it to Paris, but Victor was so sick, like he was just fading away. His dad tried to make him feel better, but then Victor said the most amazing, scary thing. He confessed he was the one who made William, Justine, and Henry die, like he was their murderer. But his dad just shook his head and said, "Oh, you're just delirious." He just couldn't understand the true, awful horror. And Victor, he didn't even tell him about the creature, because he was so scared his dad would think he was absolutely crazy. And then guess what? Victor, he was still kind of sad, but not as sad. Then a letter came from Elizabeth. She was super worried about him and about them getting married, and she even asked if he really loved her or just felt like he had to. And she said if he loved someone else, it was okay. She'd let him go. She just wanted him to be happy more than anything. Wow! Elizabeth sent a letter, and it made Victor remember the scariest thing the monster ever said. "I'll be with you on your wedding night." But Victor, he thought the monster was coming for him, not Elizabeth. So brave, he decided he had to face it no matter what, just so his family could be happy. He wrote back to Elizabeth, telling her how much he loved her, but he also said he had a big, scary secret. He'd tell her after they got married, even though he thought he was going to die. He just wanted Elizabeth to be happy. And then Victor and his dad came back to Geneva. Elizabeth was there, and she was so happy to see him, giving him a big hug, even though they both looked kind of different, like they'd been through a lot. Victor still got really sad, and sometimes even a little bit crazy, but only when Elizabeth was super gentle and close to him, he felt a little better. She tried to make him feel all calm, but oh no, he still felt super guilty about something, and it just wouldn't let him be happy. And then guess what? Papa Alphonse said Victor should marry Elizabeth right away. Victor said yes, thinking the scary monster was only after him, and that getting married was like facing his big destiny. He even thought he was going to die, but he didn't know the monster had an even scarier plan. So everyone started getting ready for the wedding, and they even planned a super fancy honeymoon at a place called Villa Lavenza on Lake Como. Wow! And then the wedding happened! Victor was all smiles, but he was secretly ready for that thing to show up, watching everything. Elizabeth looked so pretty and calm, but she had this super bad feeling inside, like she knew something awful was going to happen. Then they went on an awesome boat ride across the big, beautiful lake. But even with all that beauty, they were still kind of scared, and when they landed, Victor felt that yucky, scary feeling all over again. Wow! Victor and Elizabeth got to this awesome inn right by a big lake, and a storm was just starting to rumble. But Victor, he started getting super scared, like he knew that scary monster was coming back to get him. And guess what? He had a secret pistol hidden away, ready to fight so hard against whatever was out there, even if he couldn't see it. And then Elizabeth, she saw Victor was all super worried, and she asked him kind of quiet what was making him so scared. But Victor, even though he was really terrified, he tried to make her feel better and said it was nothing. He just kind of hinted that the night was awful, but he really wanted her to believe that everything would be totally safe by morning. Victor was so scared for Elizabeth, he made her go to bed while he bravely went to patrol the inn's passages, searching for any sign of that horrible creature. But then, suddenly, a terrifying scream ripped through the night right from Elizabeth's room. Victor rushed in, his heart pounding, only to find her. Oh no! She was just lying there, lifeless, brutally murdered by the creature, just like his very worst nightmares had come true. Victor fell down, thump, because he was so scared, but then he woke up and everyone was around him. And then, right there, the monster was at the window, grinning a really mean smile and pointing at poor Elizabeth. Victor got so mad, he went bang with his pistol. But the monster was super fast. It just jumped right out the window and splash into the lake. And then a loud bang! everyone came rushing over, and Victor, he pointed right to the lake where the creature had just poof, disappeared. They searched and searched for hours, but found absolutely nothing. And most people just thought Victor was telling a crazy made-up story. Victor tried to help look on land, but he just collapsed. He was so tired and hot with a fever, and all the sad, scary things from that night were just too much. And then Victor, he kind of woke up and he just had to crawl back to Elizabeth, right where all the ladies were crying. Oh, it was just so much sad stuff. William, Justine, Clerval, and now Elizabeth. But then something amazing happened inside him. He got super-duper scared for his family, and all that sadness turned into this fierce feeling to get revenge. So bam! He just had to go back to Geneva right away. Oh wow! Victor couldn't find any horses, so he had to go on a boat across the whole big lake, all the way to Geneva. He even tried to grab an oar and row himself like a super strong hero, but he was just too sad and mixed up inside to do it. And he kept thinking about Elizabeth and all the amazing happy times they had, but even the familiar pretty places just made him feel even more how much he'd lost. And then, wow, Victor finally got to Geneva, and his dad and Ernest were still alive. But oh, it was so sad. He found out Elizabeth was gone, and that was just too much for his poor father. All the sadness and scary things just piled up, and the old man got weaker and weaker until he died right there in Victor's arms. Victor was all alone then. It was just awful. Wow, after his dad died, Victor just went totally, completely mad. He couldn't feel anything, and they threw him in a dark, scary dungeon. He was stuck in that lonely cell for months and months, and everyone thought he was just crazy. But then slowly, he started to get his mind back, and he understood how awful everything really was. And then Victor finally started thinking clearly again, but oh boy, all he could think about was getting back at that scary monster. He was so angry, like super-duper mad, and he decided he was going to chase that creature until it was gone forever. So after about a month, he went straight to the judge in town, ready to tell on the monster and make sure it got what it deserved. So Victor started telling his incredible and super-duper scary story to the judge. And the judge was listening so nicely, like he was really interested. Victor was so calm, but you could just tell he knew his story was true, even if it sounded like something from a wild dream. He told every single detail perfectly, not getting all emotional, just laying it all out. And then the magistrate, he didn't believe Victor at first. No way. But as Victor kept telling his amazing story, the magistrate started listening super carefully, and he even shivered with horror, like it was a ghost story. But when Victor wanted him to go catch the monster, the magistrate looked really worried, saying it would be impossible to catch something so strong and sneaky. Then Victor got so mad, and he scared the magistrate, who started wondering if Victor was even telling the truth. And then Victor, he was shaking all over, but oh boy, he was so determined. He declared that his only mission was to get that monster, no matter if the grown-ups helped him or not. But the magistrate, he just thought Victor was being a little bit, well, crazy, and tried to make him feel better. Victor got so mad that nobody understood, so he just zoomed out of there, deciding he'd find his own super secret way to get his revenge.